Swetri Investors Conclave took place yesterday, marking 100 days of TVK government, with 97 MoUs signed with 67,452 crore rupees and the potential to create over a lakh jobs. But the real question is what's actually behind these numbers? Is this fresh investment or largely a repackaging of projects which are already in motion? Did any new companies genuinely enter Tamil Nadu, or were these mostly expansion from names already here? And compared to the scale of previous DMK and AIADMK era summits, some of which crossed several lakh crore in commitments, how does this one really measure up to that? To break it all down, we have with us K.E. Raghunathan, who is National Chairman of Association of Indian Entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Barney. It's a pleasure talking to you.
So, like I said, yesterday's conclave signed 97 MOUs worth of 67,450 crore rupees. So, if you see that, that's a fraction of the 6.64 lakh crore the DMK government's last global investors meet claimed in 2024. So, that's a fraction of it. What did you genuinely find new or noteworthy in yesterday's numbers beyond just the scale?
Barney, any event concerning industry, jobs, employments, growth is a happy occasion. My personal congratulations to Selvi Kirtana, the Honorable Minister for Industries, who is very young by age but has settled down quite faster into her seat. This event, which was announced only a few days back, it that means it was a very short time planned executed event. And the event had four components. First component was the MOU signing ceremonies. The second component was in kickstarting some of the earlier interested parties in terms of Bhumi Puja or commissioning of a project or progress of the projects. The third was about employment opportunity. A token system of about few appointment letters were distributed, symbolic shots. The fourth was the infrastructure being created for the working class, be it a women's hostel or service centers and things like that. That was the fourth option. So the four were held in particular time. We noticed several new things in this gym. Obviously, forgetting the press was not being their part of it. If at all we want to point out few takeaways from this meeting yesterday, the missing was certainly our Honorable Chief Minister's address to the industrialists, investors, entrepreneurs, and trade bodies. That was really missing because the party is new to the people globally and the power is new to the people who have just come into the action, and the chief minister is the first time chief minister without much of a background experiences in understanding the industry. So he must have used this opportunity in talking about how important the industrial growth in the state is and what sectors he is likely to focus on and what kind of a jobs he would like to create and how he will assure a corruption-free governance or a prompt governance or a latest technology-based governance. All this he could have addressed yesterday. This would have certainly spread the confidence on the state. When the counterparts like Mr. Chandrababu Naidu or Shivakumar or the Telangana Chief Minister addressing people directly and exchanging pleasantries with them, discussing on their requirements and taking calls, this was a usual difference which we found in yesterday's meeting. Other than that, the announcements and the MOUs and things like that were really happy to know. And you and I would be definitely more surprised to see the list of MOUs. There were a lot of people in small and medium enterprises which were figuring in that. There were a lot of, after the event, the government brought out a detailed PowerPoint slides on what type of investments are committed, what sectors are committed, which part of the state is committed, what is the expected employment opportunities, and all these were discussed in a documentation form. This was not there before. Now, coming back to the sectors which they have analyzed, you will agree with me that there is an auto sector, there is a critical engineering, there is a textile, life sciences, electronics, deep tech, aerospace, multi sector, data centers, and industrial warehousing, maritime, and things like that. They have very clearly said how many companies are coming and what is the investment and what is the job opportunities being created.
Those are some really interesting points, like that are worth jotting down. So, since we know that it's their first attempt at the investors conclave. So, I just want to ask one question here. So, the government named companies like Supermicro, Daimler, Saint Gobain, YKK. So, these were the headline investors. But there's been some online chattering, whether any new large scale players entered Tamil Nadu for the first time yesterday. Were there any big names that you expected, but they were missing?
Not really. I didn't see much of Murupa group there. I didn't see much of TVS group there. I didn't see
Yeah.
amalgamations there. I didn't see the existing large players in Tamil Nadu uh, were wanting to expand and put things. I didn't see infrastructure projects coming in a big way. I didn't see any announcement made with regard to the Parandur airport or an alternative to Parandur airport or a dry port or end-to-end connectivity of material movement within Tamil Nadu. I didn't see that. I didn't really see an exact data as to how many of the past were really bubbles and how many were really gave us the results. But the fact remains also, yesterday there was a pictures about the hostels and infrastructure creation for industrial growth. But the budget did not speak about any such allocation for this financial year. I see a mismatch. I see a disconnect between the educational institutions and the industries and the individuals in the state. I didn't see a missing link between, because Tamil Nadu has the highest number of educational institutions. Tamil Nadu is one of the highest higher education output producer. Tamil Nadu has the highest number of professors with doctorates in the country. Tamil Nadu has the highest number of innovations and incubation centers in the state. But how are we connecting these dots for industrial growth, industrial movement? This is what is worrying. So, these are the areas which would have been real business activity. You understood what I mean. I didn't see
Yeah.
any big foreign companies. Madam Selvi Kirtana went to Korea. I didn't see emerging
Yeah.
technologies. There were more of R&Ds and things like that. It's fine. But will it really be evolving into a large-scale industry? Will it give revenue for the state? You know where the revenue comes for the state, Barney? I manufacture a product. If I sell my output outside Tamil Nadu government does not get much of a revenue in tax, right? But if I sell my product inside Tamil Nadu, then Tamil Nadu gets a whole of the revenue models inside. So
So,
we
but
should.
I'd like to interrupt with just one little observation from yesterday. So the official said that 55 of yesterday's projects were new ventures actually, and then 50 are expansion from the previous regimes. So do you think it's a healthy mix of fresh investments and then of older investment as well, or do you think that the state is still leaning heavily on the company it already has? Like, what do you have to say about that?
I am yet to see large demonstrative or which will be ready in the next 3 months, which will be ready in the next 1 year. I'm not able to see such kind of mixes. where there is a huge of volume and the companies are ready with the technology and the knowledge, they come and set it up and then they go in a big way in terms of revenue streams. Because the revenue stream, when they start only, it means job opportunities are created. You don't create jobs when the factory is identifying land banks, when the factory is closing the financial reports, and when the factory is new enterprise is closing their construction activity, machine installation. You don't see job opportunity. The jobs come when the factory is ready to manufacture. So that is the lead time. Whether that lead time is 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, that is what you must see. There can be companies which can come and set it up as a GCC center. GCC centers are unpredictable.
Yeah, I
So
think we can safely assume that it's their first attempt and they've just only dipped their toes into the water and not like didn't really take a deep dive into it. Am I right?
I think this was a last minute agenda, sudden agenda which has come up to convey, for which there must have been several trigger points. The trigger point is inducing confidence on the investors, infusing confidence about the minister to the chief minister, about the performance of the new secretary, new guidance bureau chief, that they are doing something seriously about their industrial growth. Like it was probably a sudden event. It was probably an event which was a closed door event, holding mentorship, holding incubation center, holding development centers, and earmarking 10% of our GDP onto R&D centers, commercialization packages. Something should have been announced, no?
I
Something.
know you made actually really interesting points, but also I'm going to branch out a little from the event, and we cannot lose sight of the fact that every government that's held one of these summits eventually had to come and answer how many MOUs are actually becoming functionary factories. So that's one thing that you cannot lose sight of the fact. So DMK's own final report card admitted that only 35% of its MOUs were operational, became fully operational. So what is the single biggest challenge you see for this government, to in avoiding that same gap that DMK made?
Why wasn't more professionally pinpointed, attractive proposal, and with a title saying Tamil Nadu attracts, TN attracts, and explain why it attracts? I'm happy
But
that some.
apart from the event, what are the factors do you think that will, bridge this gap, from signing MOUs to actually becoming fully functional factories? So apart from the event, what do you think are the factors that might contribute to that?
Yesterday, I saw one of the MOU signing entrepreneurs saying that uh, he was contacted by guidance last week and said, "Why don't we sign an MOU?" And then we signed the MOU, and everything is happening very fast, and everything is taken care by the guidance bureau. That I felt is not a good thing to do. We don't go and push somebody to sign an MOU.
Okay.
Because signing of an MOU is not an agreement or a confirmation or a confirmed investment. It's only an expression of interest. I can come and approach Bhavani and say, hey, can you sign an MOU with me saying in future when you get a new idea, when you get a new proposal, or when you want to be an entrepreneur, you will do it along with Mr. Raghunathan. You will say, yes, non-committal, I will sign. As long as I am able to receive this from a chief minister, I am able to get my name projected and I can have a snap or a few minutes with chief minister to talk, anybody will agree. Because there's nothing lost. But is that the real? That's why the conversion rate between MOU to reality is very important.
Hmm.
For which we need to start somewhere. So that the regular exporters to US who are losing their business are moving away in the next 1 year to 2 years. What is the roadmap for 1.5 trillion achievement in the next 10 years from now? What is the roadmap? You have fixed the destination. But what if your road is not leading to the destination? What is the milestones? What is the expected revenue model streams? This is what is very professional. Now
That's
the
actually really insightful. So, like, that's really insightful. But I have one important question to ask. Like, we've been discussing that, MOUs stalling between signing and execution, what specifically needs to happen in the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months, for the yesterday's MOUs to actually translate into functioning projects and used to find real jobs. But since you've spoken about the gap between that, do you have any data on the TN's historical conversion rate? How many past MOUs across governments actually became operational business?
nobody will outsider will have an exact data, Bhavan. We can only have a guesstimate. Okay. I attended the last program of the DMK government when they talked about the performance evaluation about the industries department, where they talked about in the 5 years how much of investments had come and what is their conversion rate. 73% is what they talked. But the present government is the one which has an access to the data and the information. So, if at all it has to be counted, then it can only be counted by the people in the power right now.
Okay.
The gap between what was claimed and what is real.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really a great conversation. So, whether the vision actually translate into victory, we'll have to wait and watch how this plays out. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.